All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. This is gonna be good here this week here on Black History. I got my pastor up here, David L. Stanley, right here at Union Baptist in Macon, Georgia. He's definitely another one of my great scholars. He's a living scholar, as a matter of fact. That is one of my teachers and mentors just as well. Great young man, as I always have said, I always talked about character. That's why I dropped the one we did on the Kingdom Point of View about Miles Monroe recently with Black History, because it's all about character. That's one thing I always said about why I like this young man right here. And then Martin Luther King, I started off this year with the drum major instinct to give a thought process about intent. And we dealt with character on Black History. And now we finna deal with exactly what's being the topic of the day. Don't take it for granted. And Dr. David L. Stanley himself is going to bring you home, and let's just see how it affects you in a good way so it can kind of motivate us and keep us all going together right here on the Kingdom Point of View. And so once again, stay tuned in.
The voice. Then he put the right voice with the song. Amen. Thank you, choir, for. Now that means I can flunk and y'all will still go home happy. Amen. Everybody don't come to church. Sometimes you have to take the gospel to them. And that's what our intentions are. All right, Matthew chapter 7, you're already there. You already have the subject. Beginning at verses 21. Not everyone that said unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father, which is in heaven. Many will say unto me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name? And in thy name have cast out devils, and in thy name done many wonderful works. Then I will profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that worketh iniquity. And from those three verses, once again, we want to embark on the subject. Amen. Don't take it for granted. We're so glad to see, amen, Reverend Cornelius sharing with us from the St. Luke Church. Give him a hand clap of praise. We've already acknowledged Brother Michael Johnson from Fulton Baptist. Don't take it, for granted. Somebody once said, everybody talking about heaven ain't going. But at the same time, it's not for you or I to try to judge as to who will and who will not, but to just work hard and try to make sure, amen, that we make it in. And so I thought that it would be good on this great day, this celebration, as we pay tribute, amen, to one of Macon's greatest coaches, to stop by Matthew chapter 7, park our minds and our souls there for just a few minutes and observe from whence this subject came, as to not taking it for granted. Do know from chapter 5 all the way up to this chapter 7 is pretty much covered in red ink, which signifies that Christ himself, is doing the talking. In chapter 5, he launched out and gave us what we call the Sermon on the Mount, mainly the Beatitudes, and cried out, now times, blessed are they that do certain things. And one thing we ought not to surely overlook in Matthew chapter 5 is when he said, blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. My brothers and sisters, you can't make it in with a dirty heart. If you're going to cross over on the other side and hang out with Jesus, you're going to have a pure heart. And when you got a pure heart, that means you'll treat people right. When you got a pure heart, you won't laugh in people's face and then stab them in the back. I'll leave that for another sermon because I'm going to need it before the year is out. Amen. But as we make our way from chapter 5 up to chapter 7, we find Jesus giving us a stern warning as it relates to verses 21 through 23 by reminding us that not everybody that called his name is going to necessarily be a candidate for heaven. Not everybody who necessarily work in the church and all over the church and trying to dominate the church and have their way is not going to necessarily be a candidate for heaven. He goes on to remind us that narrow is the way. I've often said going to heaven is like traveling down Interstate 16. Every now and then you'll see a vehicle going with you. But going to hell, amen, is like 5 lanes Interstate 75 on your way to Atlanta, Georgia. Other words, what Jesus is telling us in these 3 simple verses is don't take it for granted. And don't assume that just because you call his name and you know some church talk and you hang around your favorite church, amen, that heaven is going to be your home. Have you noticed, bro, preachers, and I dare not once again judge anybody, but have you noticed everybody's funeral is a homegoing celebration? Y'all to get that when you go home. Yeah. That's my friend, Dr. Baker, in the house. Every year, every funeral, is a homegoing celebration. No matter how bad he lived, no matter how he died, but it's a homegoing celebration. Well, even though we might come to a funeral and declare it's a homecoming, a homegoing, we still need to be reminded, amen, that everybody talking about heaven, amen, ain't going. But allow me very quickly to take a brief detour because there are some other things that I don't want you to take for granted. And you know, when you say I take it for granted, that means you assume that it's going to always be that way. That's all taking it for granted means, that nothing is going to change. It's going to always be that way, so I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to pray about it. I can just play with it. I can toy with it. I don't have to take it serious. I'm just assuming that it's going to be the way that it is. Well, sometimes we can take life in and of itself for granted. Did you hear what I said? We can take life in and of itself for granted, just assuming that we're going to live forever. Northeast alumni, it seemed like it was just a few years ago. Yeah, when I was walking the halls of Northeast High School, bell-bottom pants was in then. Afros were in. Yeah. We had a pick in our back pocket with a fist on it. 8-track tapes. was playing, Papa was a Rolling Stone. And if it dragged, we put a popsicle stick in it to make it play right. Y'all ain't talking to me. Yeah, Coach Johnson hadn't got there yet. He came in 76. Amen. 77. 76. Amen. But it just seemed like we would be young forever. And here we are, some few years later. Amen. Gray hair or no hair. Here we are, bones popping. We used to jump out the bed. Now we slide out. Y'all ain't talking to me. Yeah. Our memory done got bad. We go to the refrigerator and forget what we went at. We fuss about misplacing the keys and they're in your pocket. We taking life for granted as if it's going to always be. But I got some news for you. We didn't come here to stay. We're going to have to leave here one day. And we ought to cherish life. We ought to live life with vigor. I'm going to feel this thing in a minute. We ought not waste our time being jealous of one another. Worrying about who driving what and who wearing what. Life is more than cars and clothes. Did you hear what I said? Well, what's a house if you got one and you ain't speaking to the person that's living in there with you? Life. Don't take it. Don't take it for granted. Somebody said you can be here today and gone tomorrow. That's not true. That's not true. You can be here today and gone today. And that's why you need to do what you can for those that you love so you won't have no regrets if they leave on you unexpectedly. Do what's right. Do for people. Treat people right. Love people. Be kind to people because you might not get another chance tomorrow. A few weeks ago, unfortunately, we buried 3 preachers. Preachers die too. Yeah, Job had it right. Man that's born of a woman. He didn't say except preachers. He said man. I was a man before I was a preacher. Man that's born of a woman has but a few days. And what's so ironic is all 3 of them I had seen and been in their company in a happy way. Amen. One introduced me as a guest speaker at his grandfather's banquet. The other 2 are in their company smiling, having a good time. And then you get a phone call telling you they are gone. And so let's stop taking life for granted. Take that vacation this summer. Did you hear what I said? Stop letting your greedy children take all your money. Spend some for yourself. Stop letting your nieces and nephews rob you dry. Spend some of that money on yourself. Put them teeth in your mouth and go get you a steak. And go on vacation. Go to Disney World. Have a good time. Stop spending your money on other folk. Spend some of it on yourself. Stop taking life for granted. Then we take health for granted. We take good health for granted. I was in my doctor's office a few days ago. Let me look around. Got to make sure I don't say the wrong thing in front of the wrong folk. But in a good way. In a good way, Dr. Hand, she reminded me that there are some diseases and some issues that African, and she's a Caucasian doctor, that African Americans suffer with more than other races. So she was saying to me, a lot of our health issues, God ain't putting it on us, but we're bringing it on ourselves. There's some things we can do for ourselves. Y'all ain't talking to me. Amen. That can help enhance the quality of life. Watch this. Moses was, now you might be one of those persons who believe this. Reverend Stanley, when you was born January the 12th, 1955, God gave you a death date right then, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Now, that's some people's philosophy. Some people's philosophy is the day I was born, God assigned me a death date, and there's nothing I can do about it, good or bad. I can't prolong it, and I can't shorten it. And then there are others who believe just the opposite, that you can die before your time, that you can be foolish and do the wrong thing and end up leaving this world, amen, before God intended, amen, for you to leave. That is $1 million question, amen, that we can't perfectly answer. But there are some things, amen, that we can do better for ourselves to help, amen, hold on to our good health a little longer. Moses was climbing mountains at 120 years old. We 35 and looking for an elevator. She told me you can get rid of these 15 milligram Norvest if you just walk 30 minutes a day. Y'all ain't talking to me. But we done got so comfortable going to the drugstore to get medicine to hide the symptom, but ain't solving the problem. And the problem, most of the time, we can solve it. Sometimes you got to push away from that whopper at 11 o'clock at night. You can take good health, amen, for granted. You can drink Coca-Colas instead of water. I'm preaching at me now. That way y'all won't say I'm picking on y'all. Boy, it's very tempting for me to go to the refrigerator real thirsty and I see a red can with that white stripe on it and water on the other side. That's tempting to me, y'all. And most of the time, that Coca-Cola went out. Then somebody said, well, I tell you what, just to show you how bad they are, take one of them and go outside and pour it on your battery cable. Now, what do you think it's going to do with your kidney? I say, I know, but give me another one. And when I sit down at the table with you and say, pass me the salt, don't be giving me no 30-minute lecture, just pass the salt. But she made me aware that we need to, as a race, start taking control, amen, of our health. Because I'm here to tell you, all the money in the world means nothing if you don't have the health, amen, to enjoy. Husbands, stop taking your wife for granted. That is my subject, ain't it? Yeah, don't take that lady you call wife for granted. Don't take her kindness for granted. I heard a song by mistake not too long ago. It said there's a thin line between love and hate. I don't know how it got on that channel, but I'm talking about taking people and things for granted. Don't take her kindness for weakness. Don't take her for granted. Because you just might go to work one day, and when you come home, the house is empty. That U-Haul truck done took everything. And I heard R. Kelly by mistake said when a woman is fed up, don't take her for granted. I can tell when some men are in trouble when they come to Bible study. Ain't been to Bible study in 10 years. I said, he in trouble. Come to church and sit on the third row. I said, he in trouble. He trying to get her back now. But Kelly said when she fed up. Ladies, you know that has another side to it. Don't take them men that you call husband for granted. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't take him for granted. Don't disrespect him. Don't stay there, Brazil. Don't show out on your husband in public. Don't embarrass him. Don't throw off on him and talk down on him in front of his friends. He can't take that. Don't make him sound like he ain't nothing. Throwing off on him in front of other folk. Don't do that to him. Respect him, honor him. Share your disagreements with him behind closed doors. Did you hear what I said? Behind closed doors. Bake him some hot biscuits from scratch. Run him some hot water. Massage his tense muscles. Treat him good. Because the cleanup woman is out there. Don't take those of you that still have parents living. Don't take mom and daddy for granted. Oh, I give anything to have one more conversation with my father. I just didn't value and understand those humorous stories that he would tell me sometime when I would stop by to see him, and we'd be on the front porch and he'll have his Camel cigarettes just blowing. You just don't know what's valuable and precious to you. And somebody once said it is true. You don't miss the water to the well. Run dry. I'd give anything to have another conversation with that man called my father. I'd give anything to have another conversation and one more trip, amen, with my mother. It became my responsibility with my siblings not living in Macon after my father left her a widow. Amen. To carry her to the grocery store and other places and to share that intimate time with her. I would give anything. Amen. To have that opportunity again. So take it from me, those of you whose mothers and fathers are still living, don't take her for granted. Don't get so busy you ain't got time for mama and daddy. Don't get so aggravated and upset when they ask you to run an errand. Talking about, I ain't got time, I'm busy. Make time. Make time for mama. Make time for daddy. You ain't going to have them always. And when they gone, you going to long for them. Don't ever get so busy you ain't got time for that lady that brought you into this world, or that man you call father. My brothers and sisters, there are a whole lot of things as I make ready to leave you. I just wanted to whet your appetite. And hopefully when you go home, you will make your own list. Because there are times when we take things and one another for granted. Some of us are taking that good job we have, complaining about it. Stop complaining about it. At least you got a job. Do you know how many folk wish they had your job? Do you know how many people? I'm not saying it's wrong for you to ask for a raise. I'm not saying it's wrong for you to ask for better conditions. That's fine. But at the same time, be thankful that you got somewhere to go in the morning. Matter of fact, when you wake up in the morning to start getting ready for your job, you ought to just say, Lord, thank you for this job. Now help me get ready for this low-down supervisor and these gossiping co-workers. Arm me with your spirit and let me go on this job, for this is the day, oh, preach, Stanley, that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Be grateful. Be grateful for that. Whatever you call it, an old piece of job or whatever, be grateful. Because the Bible says if you don't work, yeah, you don't eat. So many things that we take for granted. We take many times prosperity for granted, not recognizing that it don't take but one bad phone call to turn your life upside down. That's why we don't like for the phone to ring in the wee hours of the morning. You talking about something that'll scare you half to death. It's for that phone to start ringing 2 and 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning, because you know that represent bad news. It's getting ready to come forth. So my brothers and sisters, let each and every one of us examine where we are right now in life, and take inventory of things and people and situations that we are taking for granted. Don't assume it's going to always be there. Matter of fact, don't take these preachers, amen, for granted. They are God's newspaper men. They carry the good news. Oh, I know folk love to tell jokes about preachers, even sometimes comparing them to pimps and other negative things. But my brothers and sisters, the Bible says, how can they hear? Lord have mercy. Didn't say it without a politician. Didn't say it without some other profession. Didn't say, how can they hear? Oh, shucks, I'm getting ready to get out of here now. It didn't say, how can they hear? Yeah, without Steph Curry. Didn't say, how can they hear without LeBron James? But rather, how can they hear? Yeah, without the preacher. So don't take these men of God or preachers anywhere for granted. Yeah, they are God's spokesperson. They've been mandated to carry the good news and to remind every man and every woman, yeah, that they got a soul to save. Union, I've been around here by the grace of God, Lord have mercy, for 28 years. Yeah, with God's help, I intend to give you a few more. But at the same time, yeah, don't take me, Lord have mercy, for granted. Yeah, because the Lord has been good to all of us. Yeah, He brought each and every one of us, good God Almighty, a mighty long way. Yeah, I turned 61 few months ago. Yeah, started on this journey at the age of 32. Yeah, but I'm like a good athlete now. I done caught my second wind. Yeah, and I'm ready. Y'all ain't talking to me. I said I done caught my second wind now. Yeah, and I'm ready to run on and see what the end gonna be. Ain't the Lord all right? And so I hear Jesus in our text this morning, Matthew chapter 7, giving us a warning and telling us don't take salvation for granted. Ain't the Lord all right? Jesus said right here in our text, everyone that calls my name shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Ain't the Lord all right? Even those who have a resume of good work and church attendance, they not gonna make it in. Ain't the Lord all right? So it behooves us to stand in the mirror and say, Lord, search me, search my heart, and if you find anything that's not right, move it and move it right now, because I want to be ready when the trumpet sounds. Ain't the Lord all right? Good day, Union. God bless your soul. Good day, Northeast. May God keep you in his care. But if there's one thing I want to leave with you, get your soul right. Ain't the Lord all right? God has smile. Don't take it for granted. Don't take God for granted. Don't play with him. Jesus said you can't serve two masters. Either you love one, hate the other. Don't take God for a plaything. A lot of times we don't even think about him until we get sick and think bad news is coming our way. But if you call on him in the good times, if you take time to talk to him when things are well, he'll hear your voice when things are going bad. How you know, Reverend? Because I done tried him, and he has never failed me. Don't play with God. Don't take him for granted. Don't take salvation for granted. Get right with him today. If you're not sure, I'm going to give you an opportunity in a few minutes to get it right. Your soul is the most precious thing you have. Did you hear what I said? And Jesus said, what does it profit a man if he gains the whole world and loses his soul? You can replace material things. Did you hear what I said? You can get some more of whatever you lost. That's why I don't worry about material things. I really don't worry about material things, because I know you can always get some more of it. But when it comes to life, you don't have but one. Don't mess up on it. Don't mess up with it. Don't die without Jesus. That's all I'm saying. Don't go to your grave without Jesus on your side. It's a dangerous thing to go to judgment and not have Jesus as your lawyer. On your feet, on your feet. The doors of the church is open. God has.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. I already knew that the doctor was going to bring y'all home. David L. Stanley, he's tough. And once again, I admire him just as well because of his character. But definitely his topic for today was don't take it for granted. And a lot of times that's what's been done, and that's what it's all about, trying to get everybody activated here on the Kingdom Point of View. But he closed it out very well with a lot of great statements on drawing a whole conclusion. Hopefully that activated you just as well as many others have. But pick up the pace right here on Black History. For those who tune in to the Kingdom Point of View, get ready to share it, because on this final blast on Black History, we're going to bring a lot of good past sermons and a lot of speeches that have taken place. And this is what it's all about. Like I've said before, I study these guys. These are one of my major ones that I study. My pastor, he's still living, so that's a good thing. But Dr. King, Miles Monroe, and David L. Stanley, like I say, they tough to me, and I helped me grow in the way that I have, and we've inspired others. And that's what it's all about on the Kingdom Point of View. So stay tuned and email in if you want to comment in or come to the studio, and we're definitely looking for your response. So thank you for tuning in to the Kingdom Point of View.